And don't rush. Do not rush. Do not rush. All right, take your time. Good things take time. It's okay. Take your time and then release it only when you know you're ready. And do it for yourself, dude. Because it will only work out when you're satisfied.
If you've been following the YouTube scene of Bangladesh from the early days, chances are you would have come across the name Asif Bin Azad from BhaiBrothers Limited. Asif has been one of the more popular creators from the early days of YouTube entertainment in Bangladesh and has since worked on various creative projects, from having his own interview show to directing short films to launching campaigns. His recent stint was being the content producer at Bongo, which is one of the most watched digital entertainment platforms in the country. He's since moved on from Bongo to a few personal projects, one of which is also launching his own podcast, the BhaiBrothers Podcast. This also allows him to explore one of his key skills, which is being a host and a showrunner. So welcome to the podcast journey, Asif. In this episode of the State of the Creators podcast, we cover how you can move from one creative vertical to another, and how you can leverage your content to establish a career online, and the general state of YouTube in Bangladesh. Now I'll get straight to the point here. If you want to help me out to create more podcasts and content, subscribe to the channel, or you can leave a review on iTunes, or better yet, sign up to my fortnightly newsletter where I highlight the best creative content out there. It's free to sign up, so simply go to www.tausifakkas.com and sign up with your email. If you've done any of these at all, thank you so very much. It helps me out a great deal. And finally, without further ado, here is the State of the Creators, episode 10, the Big 10, featuring Asif Bin Azad. Hope you enjoy the show. This is the State of the Creators, a show about creative individuals who are on a quest to build something out of nothing.
I go a little hyper, so if I go too hype, just gain.
Correct. And do you sing?
No.
Have you? Because you're getting into music as well, aren't you?
I sing. I'm not a singer.
That's nice.
I try to sing.
Because if you've done live shows, they teach you this thing. So when you hit high notes, you have to kind of go back.
Right.
But obviously, when you're reacting to stuff emotionally, I don't think you can think, "Oh man, that's so fucking awesome."
Yeah, I just learned the P and the B. Oh man, P and B.
Well, এটাতে তো I've got the pop filter, so that's kind of the main reason. So, do beatbox?
I try, bro. I'm sure to check.
Actually, beatbox ই হচ্ছে তো as well. This
beatbox Bangladesh.
Yeah, this event, like there's some sort of beatbox finder
in Dhanmondi.
I don't know where, but obviously beatbox show.
Yeah, beatbox Bangladesh.
Yeah, Muqtadir Bhai is obviously going to do that
beatbox
stuff.
Show.
Yeah, beatbox show, correct?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool to see that side of things kind of has its own world, and man, content bubble is a real thing.
Yep, it's niche, but when you, so I haven't been to those events, but I saw it on the internet. Dude, they're really into it.
Yeah, man, it's even music in Bangladesh is.
Yeah.
Anyway, this wasn't meant to be an intro, but it's worked out well. I've started recording already.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I don't have any intros, FYI. It's
all right.
So literally no intros, no hello good people, none of that. It's literally just straight into questions. Smack into questions.
Love it. I'm going to make a confession at the end of this podcast.
Yeah.
If it really works out, but let's just save that for the last.
Awesome.
I'm here on a mission.
That's it. Hi.
How
are you?
Blantic dude. By the way, I'm very proud of what you're doing. Like,
thanks, man.
That's one page I saw, and I'm like you legit know what you're talking about.
Oh, thanks, man.
Like,
we even did the collaboration last year for the World Cup. Yeah, I wasn't here, but my good people, Araf and I think Anaf as well went there, and it's quite good to see, kind of that transitioning between the two worlds.
Yeah,
really.
And I told them, like, I'm not into sports. I'm like, bro, like, I can just start off and then you guys take over.
But the thing is, a couple of your videos, I remember early on, you did a FIFA video and one for YouTube, while you're doing your YouTube thing full on.
Right.
Early on. And I remember do you play FIFA?
Yeah.
What was the sign-up all about?
Man.
You miss it?
Yeah.
We'll come into that. Before anything else, tell me why ChotoAzad. Like, what's with that name?
All right, so I actually, my father called me ChotoAzad once.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm the youngest in the family.
Right.
and I feel
You kind of stuck with it.
well. I just feel like I'm the.
Did he
captain
just
of-
call you once, or does he?
He
kind of
addre-
ref-
he
refer-
addressed me as ChotoAzad, like I just randomly ChotoAzad. I'm like, if I ever have a stage name, it's gonna be that.
Oh, nice.
And well, the memes helped to make everyone remember it. So hell yeah, thank you.
It worked out.
It did.
Man, memes are powerful. We don't talk about that enough.
Of course it is.
Drake owes a lot of his hit singles because of memes.
Oh yes.
Next time, do this exercise. Look at any memes and try seeing how many of them are about Drake.
Okay.
Just anywhere, and you'll be surprised to see how many Drake memes are there. It's subconsciously, it's in your head all the time, and then go back and check the amount of single. Obviously, songs are good, they're bangers at times, but that helps.
Nice. You learn new things every day.
That's it.
Dude, Drake is amazing. That dude, if I'm not wrong, he brings in 3%.
Do you use Spotify?
No, Apple Music. Spotify is my luck corrupt, man. Every time I get an account, it just gets
They do this
suspended.
thing every year where Spotify Wrapped, right?
Mhm.
So at the end of the year, they give you your own kind of data.
Right.
And they give you like how many minutes you listen to, who you listen to, who is your best, I guess, played artist and everything. And since this is end of 2019, end of a decade essentially, they give you an artist of the decade based on your listening
Right.
patterns and
Algorithm-wise.
algorithm-wise.
Yeah.
And my artist of the decade was fucking 50 Cent.
Huh?
How? I've never listened to him like beyond a few songs. So I went back and was like, this is complete bull. We're getting off track.
But the question is, when you have another spare account, I would love to be the parasite of that Spotify account.
Go for
Thank
it,
you.
man.
Moving on.
That's it. Sorted. I couldn't really get you the big sum of money you asked for coming to this podcast, but I could give you your Spotify.
Alhamdulillah, something's better than nothing.
Something's
and,
working out.
And beggars can be choosers.
So now can we do the podcast more than 5 minutes?
Let's do it.
Okay,
Let's
awesome.
do it.
Yes.
I'm here as long as you allow me to be here.
So for the people unfamiliar with your work, who is Asif Bin Azad?
All right. I'm a marketeer.
Okay.
I would love to consider myself as a homie. And I'm a creator. I make videos for a living.
Awesome. That's a pretty cool thing to say. I make videos for a living.
Oh, I'm a scene create kuri.
Scene create girl.
I create scenes and shows.
Okay. That's nice. Publicly, for the public.
For the public.
But not publicly.
But not publicly.
That's a nice. Look, before we get into anything else, talk to me about your earlier work, right? So obviously, from what I know and remember about you, you kind of got into the scene of the online digital media world through BhaiBrothers, obviously, and I want to kind of delve into that a bit more. Talk me through the process. So not in terms of say, I wanted to make videos and stuff, but did you have like a creative inkling when you were a kid that, I always was meant to do this stuff? Or was it more like you saw a video one day online and you're like, this is the shit I have to do forever? Or what's the story right there? That's just what I want to know.
It's actually a good mixture. So basically, I think I've inherited the whole thing of making videos from my Khalu, who was a film director, Shohidul Islam Khokon. Chotapala, I used to go to his shooting, and once I saw there was a supply of water, and it was a rain scene. So he's like, get 5 kg of rice, and someone was pouring it from the top, and in the frame, those rice looked like water.
Oh wow!
And that ticked me off. I'm like, dude, creativity is fun. So right now we have selfies, but back in those days when you had the VGA camera, you have to take one, right? So I used to make videos since then.
Right.
And then I explored pretty much everything that came on my way. Like I get super turned on every time I see an opportunity to grow.
Right. So when you say you used to make videos back from those days, did you just share it with your friends or families, or just did it for the sake of it?
Just for myself.
Right. Do you have any of those videos still?
A lot.
Oh, nice. Do you plan to release them anytime soon?
Never.
Why?
Because our society is not ready for it.
We live in a society.
Oh, yes.
Full stop.
Period.
That's awesome. So basically that kind of, influence, someone else kind of influenced you into getting into this I guess world. And tell me the reason why you kind of continued doing this stuff, right? So obviously it's one thing doing it for the money or doing it for the fame, back then I'm sure, and I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that you had no idea where it was going to lead to.
Right.
What kind of, I guess, kept you going to be able to then first press publish and then republish and publish and publish? What was that drive that got you into it?
It was just one simple realization, that is, I've seen a lot of my friends, acquaintances, they spend lakhs behind the university, they graduate, and then they do a job, and they're not happy with it.
Right.
So I found out that YouTube is a medium where I get to do what I like doing, and I think, so it's all about the practice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to keep on doing this, and also just imagine having a job that you love to do, and you get paid for it.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah. So do you used to get that stuff, pretty much straight up, or how long did it take for you to realize that this is something you can do forever? Like this is I can make a career out of this stuff. How long did it take from that very first publish to realizing that point?
13th February 2014.
So it's gonna be almost
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, 6 years soon.
Yeah, and
Right.
It was on 13th Feb 2014. I was just going through. I was binge watching YouTube videos, and
Right.
this one video popped up. You can monetize on YouTube. Like, I can make videos, and
Right.
and there's an option of monetization.
Yeah.
Next day, I called up my home Iraqi, and I'm like,
Right.
dude, let's just make a video. Let's just go.
Just do it.
And at that time, if I'm not wrong, I'm not wrong. There was an article that Bangladesh is one of the happiest country in the world.
Yeah, I think it was a video by Magno Digital. I remember because it's 2013. You mentioned.
Yeah.
Correct. So in 2014, we did this thing with Magno Digital for the World Cup. We did the big event.
You were part of that.
Yeah, the Bangladesh
Up
thing. So we remember like going through Magno. They had that video where it was like almost like a interview style thing where they asked people what makes you happy, and and it got like a lot of attention. I remember that.
Exactly. So I was like, on Valentine's Day, let's just spread love.
Right.
And our plan was to get my little cousin.
Yeah.
We're gonna get gifts, and we're just gonna give them out to people.
Yeah.
But Rakim was like, let's just go take selfies with them, and that's how it started.
Right.
Our first video was selfie with strangers.
Yeah.
The first 1,000 views was euphoric. Imagine 1,000 people just watched us. And then I'm like, dude, you know what? Another one. Right. Another one. Another one.
And then DJ Khaled.
And then it just took off.
Right. And I think through that process, obviously building an audience was a big part to play, right?
It was a hard part to play.
Yeah. And did you know who you were aiming at this stuff? Like, did you have that in the back of your mind? Talk me through that process as well of selecting an audience when you create stuff.
All right. So initially, according to our demographic, usually most of our audience, I believe it's the same for majority of the creators of Bangladesh, that 13 to 19 are the core audience.
Awesome.
Max up to 22 or 24.
Right.
So it started off like that with those sketches and skits and Bangla funny video.
Yeah.
But initially I had to do that because I had to, and it was fun. But then a year later, I was like, man, I'm not really a funny guy. Like, I can be fun, but I'm not really funny.
Right.
So initially, it was like hotcake. It was getting sold. So I was like, why not? And we were young. We didn't have much things to do. We were pretty much jobless.
Yeah.
So I was like, sure. But then with time, you get to realize that, there's a famous quote that you're not Nutella. You cannot satisfy everyone.
Yeah.
And I was like, great. You know what? Let's just stop pushing ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's not just be who we are not. Yeah. And let's just focus more on what we want to do.
Yeah.
So that's when we made a video. It's on anti-bullying, Asha.
Right.
And I think even as I speak till now, it's one of my most favorite video, which got one of the least amount of views. Because people love gossip, and it was not gossip. It was like, it was a wake-up call, but nobody's willing for that reality, I guess.
Tell me about that feeling,
niche.
though.
I love niche.
As a creator, sometimes you want to create something that you really want, right? And you put your heart and soul into it, and you're gonna I'm gonna change the way people think about this stuff, and then you push it out, and it just goes like. Nobody watches it. Yeah. And then sometimes you put something, I'm just going to make something quickly, and it blows up. Have you found out a formula for it, or has it always been very like ad hoc. Like it still doesn't make sense.
Formula, I'm not sure. Balance, yes.
Right.
So this is how I see it. I'm gonna make, let's say, 10 projects.
Yep.
6 will pay my bills. 2 will secure my income.
Right.
And the other 2 will help me sleep at night in peace.
Nice. So I guess, do you still follow the same philosophy with at Bongo right now?
Yeah, pretty much. But I've given way too much into Bongo, and I will let's just call it a big ass vacation.
Right.
Because it was getting too toxic,
Yeah.
and I absolutely do not, and I cannot entertain negative energy.
Right.
So I thought of going incognito.
Okay.
Because it was more like, okay, I get it. Like,
Right.
keyboard warriors are really hyped
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
All right. They're balling. So I was like, I don't need that.
Right.
All right. Because at the end of the day, when I think about me, I'm really happy doing what I'm doing. All right. If someone has a problem with it, fine. Let me just not do it for a while.
Right.
And coming back to your question, that's exactly when I decided that who are my audience?
Yeah.
Niche.
Right.
NRBs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who's my audience? Whoever's on the same page.
Right. Yeah.
and I know everyone's not gonna get the joke. So
Right.
yeah, whoever gets the joke is on my page. That's my audience.
Tell me about your involvement at Bongo. So what is Bongo and your, I guess, your involvement through it?
Bongo is my longest relationship.
Yeah.
Like, my last relationship lasted for 4 years. With Bongo, we've been dating for 5 years.
Right. So
that's what Bongo is.
Off record, are you still with Bongo?
Yeah, and
I mean, the way you've been saying this is off record.
Yeah.
We've been talking. It seems like you've left.
not yet, but about
you're
to.
going to.
Yeah.
So do you want me to talk about that stuff, or kind of leave that out of the picture?
Why? Let's talk
Okay.
about it.
No. Also, no. I just because this
Absolutely,
this is not
absolutely.
going to come out till February next year, so it's going to be a fair bit.
All
of
right.
time.
So by the time, I'm assuming if you're watching this right now, then I think I'm not
part of Bongo anymore.
and as a full-time employee.
Right.
So
Okay.
this job, it's kind of hard, and I want some time for myself, because my thing is, when I do something, I give every
Full.
bit of it.
Right.
I'm not sure 100%. I can't measure it that way.
Mhm.
I give as much as I can, and then I slack, and then I go late at office. So my only rule to myself and to my team has always been, it's okay to be late, just get the job done.
Right.
So I've given my heart and soul. I mean, like, I got a boom tattoo. I don't have a BhaiBrothers tattoo. So, and I did not get paid for these.
That's pretty intense.
So
I must say.
Exactly. So, like, you gotta feel it. Like,
Yeah.
don't just do it. Like, this is a part of my job,
Right.
but I did not get paid for it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this content
Yeah.
made me happy, dude.
And we'll all stay with you, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Awesome. I guess tell me what led you to that decision for not continuing with Bongo.
All right.
I guess if you want to talk about it, obviously it can be a very personal thing, but I guess answer in a way that might benefit a creative or a creator going through a similar thing where they might be feeling constricted with the desk job and they want to create something more, and how can they make the best out of the situation. So you don't have to name names, none of that. Yeah.
That's okay. So this is how I see it, right?
Yeah.
When I joined the company, I got so many questions like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Because I'm the first YouTuber, if I'm not wrong,
Right.
who signed with this company. And right now, alhamdulillah, like, so many of us under this network.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, Bongo is doing amazing. Like,
Yeah.
we have office in Nepal, Sri Lanka, and it's growing. Like,
Yeah.
I joined, there were 12 employees. Right now, Dhakate, we have over 100 employees.
Yeah.
The thing is,
That's nice, yeah.
this is how I see it. I just want to leave a mark. I just want to get my part done.
Right.
And now just move on to the next chapter.
Right.
And I came up with Boom. Of course, not me alone.
Yeah, of course.
But
yeah.
I would gracefully just embrace the fact that I could do it.
Right.
Because nobody believed in it. But
Right.
it's alhamdulillah, it's taking off.
Yeah.
And now that it's set, let's just move on to the next chapter.
Right.
And also, I want to spend more time with family and friends,
Of
and
course.
do some. I actually want to get back to my root, which
Yeah.
is BhaiBrothers.
Right. That's awesome.
Exactly. So I'm not just talking about my YouTube channel, because it's been 2 years.
Since you posted?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And right now I want to make more,
Yeah.
and not just for our YouTube channel, but create as a whole.
Right.
Me and Rudra, we have been working on 2 scripts.
Okay.
And it's not another love story where the police come at the end. It's not a rich girlfriend and a poor boyfriend. It's something that's gonna wake you up.
Right. That's really good to see, and
We're trying.
and I guess the interesting part is I want to ask you, could you have done that if you weren't part of this whole journey through the last 5-6 years? So not just about Boom, but could you have done these scripts at the early stages of your career, or did it take you to go through, a maturity phase through BhaiBrothers, getting into a full-blown media outlet in Boom, and then able to do this stuff?
I think the entire process, the entire timeline is a learning curve.
Right.
So it's like initially I had the idea, was just a seed.
Mm-hmm.
And over the time, it's all about the experience. It's all about the practice.
Right.
Like Rudra mastered, to us, he mastered the editing game. He's killing it right now.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot. So initially, I just knew that's how you turn on the camera. You turn off ISO, shutter speed. It was rocket science to me. I've learned a lot. And right now, I think we're pretty polished to do something different.
So you could basically, get that leap of faith and being able to do stuff for yourself.
Yeah.
Awesome. One thing that attracts me most about your career is basically how you kind of transitioned into different roles within this creative industry.
Oh, I'm so glad you recognize that.
Thanks, buddy. No, of course, because people generally, what we've seen with YouTube in Bangladesh, and I know you're a big part of the scene, but it's my own, I guess, candid criticism of the scene that we haven't really grown beyond what we built in the early days.
Agreed.
And I also feel, and I was speaking to some friend of mine as well, there always seems to be three things that people seem to do. Either you want to make people laugh, you either want to make people cry, or it has sexual stuff on the brackets.
Hotcake sells.
Correct. And I feel that has kind of restricted the growth compared to the rest of the world's YouTube. I mean, look at India, look at even our neighboring countries beyond. I feel the reason for that is because the early YouTubers, they got into this world, they became big, they became popular within this YouTube community. And obviously brands, and it's no fault to the YouTubers as well. You need to make dough, right? Brands come to them. They then take that opportunity, and that kind of helped them transition into a more mainstream media.
Right.
Start doing, I guess, dramas, advertisements, so and so.
Right.
What this has done is created this void for, I guess, created this distinct line. I guess what I find impressive about you is that even though you kind of stopped doing YouTube, but you still continue it through a different sector that was still booming. So tell me through that, that journey that led you to think, I'm not gonna go and make more money by doing advertisements or making diss tracks and getting into all this stuff, but instead I'm gonna go behind the scenes for a few years, not work on this stuff and learn the craft. Like, what led you to that decision?
Man, I wish there were more audience who would think like you. Legit. Dude, look, so one of the biggest obstacle, how I've seen it, is our age.
Right.
We're young. Elders are always right.
Yep.
You're young. You don't know much.
Yeah.
But let's talk about mental age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yes, I was not making videos for ourselves, our YouTube channel, for our audience, but I have been making videos the entire time.
Right.
There are so many shows that you guys are watching
that we probably don't even know it was, you were behind the scenes.
And it was just to experiment for myself that the moment I put my name in that show, there might be a comment that I wouldn't entertain.
Correct.
The moment I did not put that, I'm like, wow, people are enjoying it.
Yeah. That's interesting. I want to touch more on that later, but continue. Yeah.
Right. So, and my whole plan was, you see, I just don't want to be, okay, I am being humble and nice, but then again, at the end of the day, I believe in let's grow together. So when I came up, when the boom thing hit me, my whole plan was, let's just get everyone under one umbrella, right? Because at the end of the day, I learn from you and you learn from me, and that's how we grow. So I just wanted to get everyone at the party
involved,
right? Have you watched the movie Project X?
I haven't actually.
So it's about this dude who throws a party, and he wants to get some people, and then everyone's here.
Right.
I just want to get everyone together.
Right.
right? It's not my company. I'm just an employee. I'm just doing my job.
Right.
But you see, even when I'm doing my job, I try to camouflage it with something that I want to do as well.
Right.
So at the end of the day, at the end of the month, I get my moolah and I get my inner peace.
Right. So I guess for you, it was more about not just making videos, but making videos that will, get you somewhere from monetary side of things, a bit of security, but also for you to satisfy yourself creatively at the same time. Through that creative process, did you face any, I guess, restrictions because you're working for a big name multinational company? And how did you tackle that?
All right. Probably one of the biggest thing that I really appreciate about Bongo is Bongo always gave me 100% creative control.
Right.
We just have 2 taboo topics. Apart from those 2 taboo topics, which is religion and politics,
of course.
Apart from that, we can barge into anything and everything. And the thing you were saying, that we're restricted to 3 genres only.
Right.
So that's what I've been trying to push, like make new shows. Like when I see my acting videos, dude, I cringe at myself because that's not me.
Right.
But I've studied so much watching Ellen, watching Fallon, Conan. Like that's something I want to I want to make shows, dude.
Yeah.
Right? I want to make content like that. So that's where I'm actually trying to explore and expand the genres and take it a little farther.
Right.
It's hard, but I think slowly but eventually it's gonna get there.
One thing you mentioned in the last part is how people, I guess, mentioning your name on the work that you did for Bongo or other stuff from behind the scenes would impact the views or the reception of it. I want to hear your thoughts on that because I find that fascinating that people would consume content based on a preconceived notion about someone attached to the video.
Yeah.
What were your experiences with it? Like, did you actually have cases where you put something up and you knew it was going to work, and then did you do A and B testing? Like, I want to know more from your...
All my trial and errors happen in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And when I roll the dice, I really do my homework. Like every time I did not do my homework in school and college, I'm doing it now.
Right.
So I've done contents out of fluke, but I've seen how that works. But right now when I do something, I just want to polish it well.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the first time me doing a podcast.
Okay, awesome.
And I'm super excited because even this is like a test for me because I want to see if I can actually do it.
Awesome.
And dude, you're the first podcast host to do it. And
awesome. I think that
the show's giving me confidence. I would totally give that to you.
Oh, that makes me feel good. That it's helping you create. That's bringing in creators and helping them create. That's I guess what it's all about. So.
Gratitude. My father called.
Feel free to take it.
It's okay now.
Take it. It's fine.
It's work time. I'll send him a text. Please, bro.
It's all good.
Yes.
So I want to hear your perspective of any experience that you might have had with that. Or did you already answer it?
I did, and also it's like, so I saw that what I wanted to do, and if I do it, there will be So fine, I'm gonna do what I want to do,
right?
But I'm gonna bring someone who they want to see,
right?
So you see who you want to see,
but
you're watching my content,
right? It's almost like the Trojan horse.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're inside that horse.
Exactly.
Not literally.
Not literally.
Just
enters the elephant in the room.
It changes the whole context. You got to put it out there. I want to talk also about, I guess, making shows that you said you wanted to try outside of those 3 usual genres that we see on YouTube, online. And you've done a few of them. I've seen stuff on Bongo Boom, but I also one thing I do, and it's weird sometimes because I go into this rabbit hole of just observing random content.
Right.
But with Bongo Boom, I've kind of observed that stuff. When you first started, and you started doing things like, which is kind of similar to stuff that like GQ questions and those, what's in the bag. These are stuff that's outside. You focus on the YouTubers as well. You kind of leverage off their fan base. How was the reception for that stuff? Because I guess when you don't have those 3 things, usually you don't get the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know from your end, how do you first of all explain this stuff to the CXOs of the company that, look, we should do this stuff, and then you don't get the numbers? How do you explain that stuff to them? And then I guess how do you come about and doing more of that stuff for, convincing others?
I'm so glad you asked that. All right, so it's actually pretty, the process that I follow, it's basically first I binge watch all these kind of shows.
Right.
Because I'm more of a show person. Right. So
research and observe.
Exactly. And any genre,
Yeah.
any language, I just want to see the format. I want to see how they're doing it. Like when I just got into your studio, I was just checking out your setup,
Right.
how it's done, because that's how you learn.
Yeah.
You take the most out of it.
Yeah.
And then I make a mock-up episode, a pilot episode by my own in our studio, and then I just pitch it. Because we don't like to read, we don't like to hear. So I just show them like, yo, check this out. Right. And I take a challenge to myself that the pilot that I'm going to make to show them will be the pilot. Right. And so that's how I convince the management to let me do a show. Because you see, it's sad that we don't want to take the risk, but it's also justified because in our entertainment sector, the return on investment is not as much.
Right.
If you're investing on a rich content, like, content-wise rich, not moolah-wise, you might not make the money out of it. Like break even, I don't know how much you can make out of it, but a funny video will work.
Exactly.
Right. So they won't take that risk. So that's how I sell it to my management first, and then comes the hardest audience.
Right.
So of a lot of the shows that I've been doing behind the scene, it was very recent when I myself appeared in a show, which is the Everyday Essentials.
Yep, I want to talk about that as well later.
Exactly.
Yep.
And if you watch that episode, first day I say one thing, like, I love, so that's actually my show. I make that. Right? But it's not my show. I got the idea from GQ.
Correct.
Now, this is how it goes. We two can buy the same shirt.
Yeah.
But when you wear it, you're going to pull it off differently.
Yeah.
When I wear it, it's going to look different.
Yeah.
The idea can be the same.
Right.
But it's how you portray it. It's how you execute it.
Of course.
So, audience can be shuru te go like, I'm glad
Bongo
Bongo made me do it.
Right.
I am Bongo. I gave myself the opportunity.
I guess I want to also talk to you about numbers, because convincing the CXOs and the higher ups in the company or anywhere really, like it's awesome to create stuff for yourself, for your own audience. When you were BhaiBrothers stuff, you looked at numbers, I'm sure, but not to the point where it's life or death, right?
Yeah.
When it work with big media companies, it's pretty much life or death in some cases, where you have to show up the numbers consistently. I mean, if
you got to hit the KPI.
Exactly, that's the big 3-letter word, I guess, the KPI, and that, I guess, can be stifling for creatives. How do you bypass that as a creative? Like, because numbers and creativity sometimes don't match. Sometimes you want to make stuff for yourself, and sometimes I want to hear your experience with that, because coming from that world where the numbers didn't matter as much, then going into a world where it's numbers, KPIs, quarterly, finance, all that stuff that comes with a big name company. I want to know your experience with that.
All right, I don't know. I just recall this one thing I learned in accounting, that if a business is making multiple products and one is not making the profit, but the contribution per unit is still positive, keep continuing producing that product.
More,
Right.
I got a C in accounting, so that does not hit me. I just want to put out there, I got 6 A's, so I got the Daily Star Award in the end. So,
man,
just wanted to brag that stuff.
Thanks.
Just in case my dad's listening in.
Thanks.
So
this one dream I never dreamt, because I know
Daily Star stuff,
not my thing.
It's like I just made it, like literally, like just enough.
How does it feel, bro? How does it feel? All I can tell you how it feels when they made me stand on the table of Pizza Hut and they sang happy birthday to me. And that's the only stage that's scarred me.
Oh man, it's it was something that you had to kind of aim for, and I won't lie, it was pretty good when you're like in year 10.
It's an achievement.
10. It was an achievement back then. But then you hear, oh, this person got like the highest in the world, and you're like, I'm a normie. with 6 awards, probably better to not get that stuff.
Exactly.
Anyway,
But then again, if everyone's first, second, third, someone needs to be 7th
Correct.
and 20th.
Correct.
Count me in there.
So you weren't a good student growing up?
I'm a good student. I'm not a great student.
Right. Okay. So I guess how much of that impacted your creative output?
Not at all.
Right.
I completed my graduation.
Yeah.
I finished my high school.
Right.
And on my graduation day, I realized it was a wake-up call that, you know the thing they give you in the hand?
Yes.
I was like, oh man, I'm about to see my certificate. I opened that.
You didn't feel anything?
It's a notice.
Oh.
On 17th September, come and collect your certificate. I'm like, dude, I've been waiting for 5 hours.
Yeah.
I worked 4 years
For this piece
to get on a stage wearing that gown.
Yeah.
I had to pay for that gown to get a notice. That's when I realized that this will only come in handy when I get married because my son is educated.
Yeah. And of course in parties where you have to, speak to your neighbors and aunties and uncles and say, oh, my son's got that piece of paper.
Works.
That actually brings
Price tag.
to a question that did you have supportive parents?
Very.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about your parents.
Oh, man. I'm so grateful. Like, simply put, and I always say this, I hustle. I got that from my mother.
Yeah.
And my human aspect, I got that from my father.
Wow.
All right? Like, my father taught me how to be a human. Right? Just...
So I guess when you're like, hey, Baba, I'm making a YouTube video, or hey, Ma, I have to go out.
They were clueless.
Okay.
They were clueless.
So did they not have any indication of like, okay, I want you to become this, or hey, son, study this, or
no? So one of the best thing I've realized about my parents. So we brown kids, we have this thing that when we're really young in our school, we can't really take a decision by ourselves.
Yeah.
So when I was in grade 8. That's when we had to choose like science or commerce. So obviously I went up to my mother and I was like, what do I take? And my mother was like, who's going to give the exam? You.
Right.
It's you who should take the decision.
Right. Wow.
I'm like, dude.
That's very rare. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's like it's rare and it's awesome as well. But I guess the reason why I've been asking these questions to everyone is because a lot of the creatives, it's one thing being in a creative rut where it's a battle with yourself. Before that battle comes the battle with your environment, which usually starts with parents.
Right.
And this is a conversation we never have.
Right.
Is how to not bypass per se or trick your parents into you doing what you want, but it's more about how you can make the best out of the situation where you want to do stuff for yourself, please your parents, and have all these variables ticked.
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts on those things? Say if a creative was struggling to do that stuff, what advice would you give them?
All right. So when I told them what I'm about to do, YouTubing, they were definitely not familiar with the concept.
Of course.
But they were like, okay, it's about filmmaking kind of thing. And his Kalu does that. So we have seen him.
Okay.
So
that helped.
Yeah. It definitely played a role.
Right.
But then they're like, your Kalu does like, dope stuff.
Yeah.
You do. What the hell is going on, dude? Like, you're making a joke out of yourself.
Right.
But then the day when my first payment came from YouTube, it was $78. I was like, man,
this is $78.
It paid off, dude.
Let's go.
That was ecstatic, dude.
Right.
It felt
was your first paycheck?
That was my first paycheck from
That's
YouTube.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I hope you still have kept that somewhere.
Laminated and framed.
Beautiful. That's it.
With Bangladesh, we love to frame memories.
Even then, like the first, I guess, the first monetization or the first monetary reward is always special.
Oh man, yeah. I still have my first salary though. Like when I used to teach students, my first salary was 1,000 taka. I still have that note.
Teaching students, that's like
that's
the staple. Staple for Bangladeshi students.
Yeah. Easy money.
it's like with it's important what you just said there, because that actually also played a role. What I've been telling creatives through this podcast essentially is that the only way to bypass this system of getting to, I guess, convince parents, in your case you're very lucky, but many aren't, especially in Bangladesh, where they have to constantly explain, I'm doing this, I'm making music, or and generally there's one or two ways in which you can bypass or make them understand. The first is obviously bringing in money. So if you showcase what you're doing and it brings that monetary reward, that takes off one. The other is credibility.
Yes.
So when I guess they see you, hopefully in a newspaper or on a radio or on the best podcast there ever was, they will know.
Now they will.
They will know that their child is doing something right, because people want to talk about your work. People want to talk about what you do. So I guess for the creative listening out there, that is definitely the biggest thing that you can do, is make sure that you can sell your stuff to your parents before you sell it anywhere else, essentially.
Yeah, but I sold them before that, like
even before.
Yeah. So the great 8 story I told you.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, man, my mother knows what's up. And then I was waiting until I was done with my O levels.
Right.
After my O levels, I had a talk with my mother, and that was one conversation where my point was very simple. That you just don't want to tell your bhabhi that, bhabhi, I'm with my son like a friend.
Right.
No, because you just want to bring the words out of my stomach.
Right.
Can we really be friends? Let's talk it out.
Right.
You see, I'm transparent. I love to party.
Yeah.
But you know that I know my limit. I know when to stop.
Right.
If I ever slip, let me know. I'll correct myself.
Right.
I'm a human. I commit mistakes, but
Yeah.
I don't repeat a mistake.
Right.
So we've had this conversation. I was like, I'm going to be open about this. If you want me to hide, then it's going to get toxic.
Exactly.
Let's just be open about it, right?
Right.
Let's just have a real talk.
Yeah.
So that's when she was like, okay, fine. We're on the same page. Obviously, she's not all in, but she's like, fine.
Right.
I'm going to observe. I'm going to see what you do.
Right.
And then over the period of time,
when you start showing that what you do matters.
Exactly.
That's
It's
when
like,
they're like, okay, so my son is definitely on the right path.
it's like, it's late at night, I'm at a party, and I'm just like, it's late at night, you're at a party, but you see, it's a part of my job. I have to socialize with people.
Right, network.
Yeah,
Network.
yeah. What's more expensive than salary is networking. So, let me do it. And I need some recreation for myself.
You drop a motivational quote in there, Mom. Your network is your net worth. Just hang on.
Dude. Is that an original?
No, of course not. I'm not that smart. But I've been hearing
that's
that.
what all the smart people say.
Wow.
Takes one to know one.
Mind blown. I've heard that actually said, from different people. But the first time I think I heard it from was Gary Vee, of course. If you haven't seen Gary Vee's stuff, you must. He is.
Would love to. Please give me some links.
Changed my life.
Yeah?
In a way, yeah. He's fantastic. You would have seen him somewhere for sure, but you probably never.
I'm sorry to whoever's getting offended for not knowing that person, but I would love to.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll hook you up with
please
some
do.
real motivational dopamine.
Oh yes, absolutely. Sweet.
Which actually is very actionable, and I think that's what he stresses on.
Right.
It's one thing he literally tells, stop watching my fucking video and do something. Like that's his thing. Which I guess really pushed me to do some of the stuff that I did. So it's definitely useful. You're gonna write it down, aren't you?
Please.
Just write Gary Vee. So that's his thing. Can't believe I'm introducing Gary to someone. He would, if he sees this stuff, he'll be like,
jokes on me. I never knew that person, but right now.
But that's another thing about my
better late than never.
One of my episodes as well. It's content bubble. It's literally when you have these bubbles of content that you haven't heard of. And we think having 1 million subs is a lot, but then how many million subs are out there? It's ridiculous.
How I see it is like having 5,000 likes on your profile picture is like having 5,000 money on Monopoly. It has no real value.
Exactly. It's like, anyway, that's a whole separate topic.
Yeah.
I spoke to one of my.
We're going too spiritual over here.
One of my guests as well, but it's super. With that said, I think when you mentioned about, I guess, making that commitment to building stuff, a lot of the time when we approach our parents and say, let's have a real talk, like, yep, have a real talk with my chappal, and they'll be like, pfft. So I think you really had it, I won't say easy, but you definitely had a great start with your parents. And then that was the first step, but then doing the work after also.
Those validated, those attested.
Correct. Talk to me about when you're ready.
I was born ready.
Awesome. Is that your middle name?
Nah.
Your middle name's Bin, just like mine.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's what the bee is about.
I give it away. I used to say it's Beckham because I was a big fan of him. To my friends, they're like, "There's no fucking way that's Beckham," and I'm like, "It is." And they're like, "No."
Moving on to the next segment. Sorry, dude.
It's all good.
Tosif Beckham Akkas.
I know. It's like it was terrible. Like the stuff that I used to.
Tell me it worked for someone.
No.
Of course, I'm not surprised.
It was in year 4, man.
Bro, it's okay. Remember High Five?
Yeah, the thing, the social media.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
My name was Biker Boy.
Biker Boy.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. That's
So, yeah.
better than Prince Angel.
Exactly.
My thing was like, yeah, so I think it was always my name. Yeah. But my email address had Beckham in it, so.
Oh, dude, you know, my first email address was send me the burger at hotmail.com.
You could use that like
dude,
to this day.
Dude, I've been like, even now, if I get the option to get that back
Yeah.
to retrieve, man, send me the burger at hotmail.com. बोलते ही भल लगता man, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, it has a different
Yeah.
touch to it.
Yep.
Talking about quality, what is quality to you?
Like a show like this where I can be me,
Oh, thank you.
like legit. I'm
But-
not even just trying to be nice. I
No,
mean
no.
it.
No, but in terms of, I guess, the stuff that you've produced or the stuff that you see out there, how do you define quality? Because it's different to different people,
Mhm.
and I guess I want to get into a more objective truth
Mhm.
when it comes to quality, and I just want to hear other people's thoughts as well. So when you look at something, or when you create something, do you feel like, yeah, this is quality?
Yeah.
How do you define that?
All right, that's actually, wow, never thought about it that way. All right, so quality to me would be you make something,
Mhm.
let's say you make a pizza, and how you serve it,
Right.
right? How you serve it, if you know the right toppings,
Mhm.
if you know the taste, if you know like how it like
Should be.
how it should be, how they would consume it,
Right.
and most importantly, this is something I religiously believe
Mhm.
that if you are happy making that content, that's quality work.
Right.
When you're satisfied with your work, it's quality. I have 99 videos
Mhm.
on our YouTube channel.
Wow.
I never watched the video once it's uploaded.
Really?
Never.
Wow,
Never.
That's weird.
Never.
Then I'm probably a narcissistic pig. I watch my stuff all the time. I'm like, yep, I'm gonna watch it again. Especially when there's a nice comment, I'll be like, oh, that's a really
Oh,
nice
dude,
comment. I'm gonna watch it again just to understand where the comment's coming from.
Oh man,
That's
I
crazy.
don't read comments.
Really?
Yeah,
As well?
that's the most contradicting part
That's
about me.
interesting.
Despite working on social media,
Mm.
I am probably one of the most antisocial person I know.
How do you take feedback? Or how do you, I guess, know if something's done well based on the expectations you have?
Once someone go to your analytics, do your research, you'll get everything.
So based on numbers rather than, I guess, the actual...
And the overall vibe. Like right now, I think it comes from the experience.
Right.
And also, I don't really count on comments at all.
Right.
Because I'll tell you why. Just imagine you put up a riddle,
Yeah.
a very tough riddle.
Yeah.
All right? And Mr. X writes the answer, and then they all follow it.
Mm.
They go like, I know it too, I know it too. No, dude. Maybe some of them know, but a lot of them are just following that trend,
Right.
right? So I don't really count on comments much.
Yeah.
I embrace the good comments.
Mhm.
I absolutely like. I have a very thick skin.
Yeah.
These don't get to me anymore at all. Like
Right,
I'm
right.
I'm over that phase,
Right.
right? So I just see like, you know, watch time. What is it like if they're actually watching it?
Mm.
If they're actually spending time?
Right.
Like I'm so thankful to our audience. Like, you know, it's
Yeah.
I think it's a blessing in disguise that my channel still did not hit 1 million,
Okay.
but the few people that we have,
Yeah.
they're still there. Like, you know, it's been 2 years. We didn't put anything up there. Usually it's a decline,
Mm.
but it's stable. Like, you know, I'm really sorry to my audience that, you know, I could not make something for you guys. But
Right.
when I back at it from
Yeah.
Jan,
Yeah.
I'm going to start shooting from Jan and start
Right.
releasing from Feb.
Yeah.
I hope now it's on the go.
So your 100th video is gonna be a special one.
Yes,
Right.
very.
Awesome. So I guess by the time this goes out, people would have seen it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Nice. It's I guess it's pretty interesting how you look at stuff, because for me personally, looking at comments and
Can I just add one more
Yeah,
thing?
sure.
I would just end by saying this, to me, like a good quality would be if this content is better than the previous content. If it's an upgrade,
right,
you're getting better
so
at it.
always, I guess, fighting against yourself.
It's not like getting high that you just get high. Right?
Yeah.
High is one state.
Yeah.
I want to go higher.
Higher.
I want to go freaking high
You
on
wanna be
life.
You want to be the highest
In the room, yeah. Absolutely.
Travis knows.
Yeah.
He knows his shit.
Thanks, Kylie. Or Chris, you never know.
Whichever. I want to talk to about like your, I guess, obstacles as well, right? So, biggest failure and something that you've learned from it, if anything.
A lot. My first tattoo said fall, struggle, rise.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how it is. It's never a lesson. It's always an experience.
Yep.
It's okay. It's okay when you fuck up.
Right.
Am I?
Yeah, it's okay to cuss.
Yeah. It's okay to mess up.
Yeah.
Just don't repeat it.
Right.
Because that's when it's a mistake. Because you just made a boo-boo once again.
Right.
So don't do it. And I think it's important to do something wrong. Because without that you wouldn't learn. And it's not like it's mandatory, but it's okay. Just don't repeat the same mistake.
But I guess, could you have an example from a creative perspective where you messed up and you, I guess, learned from it?
Since I started till now, from 2014 till now, I have had one big fuss on the internet.
Yeah.
And what I picked from that is I was very young and nobody was getting this attention, and it felt good at that age. And like, getting one friend request would feel great, and I'm getting like so many. And
getting all these messages and stuff. Yeah.
I had a crush on that girl the other day. Today she adds me. It felt great, and I think I could not balance it properly.
Yeah.
That's when I made a boo-boo. I'm like, okay, now I know what not to do again.
So it's basically, it comes from maturity or lack thereof. When you're growing up.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
How do you deal with backlash? So I guess, and I'm being candid here.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a few controversies here and there with a few things, and obviously with the mainstream media, it's a lot more attacking. It's a lot more, I guess, vicious, especially on social media. Tell me about the internal struggle, if any, or how you deal with that stuff on the daily.
All right. I never had a major accident, but I had quite a lot of dope accidents.
Right.
Let me use the word dope. I'll tell you why. I'll just put one example. Every time there was a situation, I did not run away from it because I had to face it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get a hold of it and move on.
Right.
I'll just share one story. Third day of Eid, you wake up to a text from Dhaka Metropolitan Police, and they're like, you need to come to our headquarters. We need to have a word. It's the third day of Eid. And I know why, because one of my interview episode, it created fuss.
Right.
Now, I was like, fine, interesting. Let's go.
Yeah.
I went there with my lawyer. But then again, I did not get into trouble.
Right.
It was troublesome. I really don't mind. Dhaka Tribune made a lot of fuss about it.
Yeah.
And police was amazing. They were like, yo, you need to understand, this is how our culture context is.
Yeah.
Don't talk about that. And
this is all technicality.
Exactly. So he gave me a good idea of how to get it done.
Yeah.
And instantly I've taken that video down.
Right.
Also, I understand that a majority part of our audience, they're young.
Yeah.
Because you never know who might get influenced the wrong way.
Right.
Though that's not my intention, but you never know.
Yeah.
I don't have a control over everyone's computer.
Right.
So I got called by the police.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
The outcome was when I got out, we became Facebook friends, and now we're in good touch.
Right.
So face a problem and get done with it and make the most out of it.
When you created this stuff, did you know that it was going to, and you still went ahead with it for the attention?
Yeah.
Or for the, I guess, I don't think attention is the right word, but I guess when I say attention, I mean from the social media mileage, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to put it.
Right.
So I'm sorry, but not really sorry. But then again, so it's I knew I'm walking into it, but it was so my season has 12 episodes.
Yeah.
In all the 3 seasons, I made that one episode that's going to create the wildfire.
Right.
And I just triggered audience a little because it was during the month of Ramadan, and which was a big learning curve. During the month of Ramadan, do not, like, I will never upload, like, you know,
of course,
any content that might be provocative. So my only status was when I shared the video, I was like, you know, just watch this video after iftar.
Even though,
Man, never repeating that mistake.
Exactly.
But I knew that's gonna attract a lot of people. So that comes from my marketing graduation. That's what I got. Like, you know, I just know how to trigger these people. It's so easy to play with your mind, bro. But these are calculated risk. But I know that because all my contents before I put them up, it's my mother approved, it's my lawyer approved, it's my team approved.
And you mentioned about, I guess, not making the same mistake again. So
never.
Would you, I guess, not repeat, but would you do something like this in the future if you could, without the risks attached to it?
The dish can be the same, but the presentation and the ingredients might differ.
Fantastic. So you still, I think the whole point of all this, the why, is the social media marketing.
Yeah, and dude, internet.
And it just, however you can get it.
Yeah, and everyone's putting a show up on the internet.
And that's what I mean. With those three genres, that's what you get. You know, you're out there, I guess, make someone laugh, make someone cry, or excite someone. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I think ChotoAzad cringes me.
Yeah.
But you gotta meet Asif Bin Azad. That dude's pretty dope.
Right.
So me, that's my alter ego. That's just me on the stage.
Right.
Me behind the door, it's much better, I believe.
Right.
More fun to hang out with.
So it's a totally different person once the cameras are off.
And the keys are lost. Yes.
Talk to me about creative ruts.
Creative?
Right. So creative blocks, right?
Yeah.
So obviously doing this day in, day out is mentally exhausting. Even, you know, for someone who doesn't do this on a large scale like yourself, when you use your creative muscle every day, it will get sore. From your perspective, I'm sure you've been through these moments where you just, no matter how much you try, it just doesn't feel like the day you wanna, get out of bed or want to do something. How do you get out of this stuff? Or are you gonna say, I'll never have one of those days?
Nah, man, I do. Well, at times the routine gets malfunctioned a little, but in general, I'm an early bird. I wake up, I meditate, I get those things right. And one thing, like even throughout this whole show, we did not talk about one thing, and I really don't put it out there. Apart from the creative juice, this is where I love this line. I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, it's not just, I'm not just selling the creativity. I'm also selling, I'm here to do business. All right. I'm here to make some money. I'm here to, make a better future.
Right.
So I'm really driven by the business aspect of it. And Bongo played a big role because I had to make my place.
Right.
So I think so far what I've done, I haven't done a lot. I still travel in Uber, but it feels great because I pay the bill from my own wallet.
Right. So I think for you, it was about creating a system that, helps you not get into a rut more often.
Yeah. Because back to that square one, make something that's gonna pay the bill, make something that's gonna help you sleep at night. Right. So you got to balance yin yang.
Yeah. I think that's super way to look at things because it's important to make the dough.
Yeah, exactly.
Which also, I guess, comes back to the point for someone who is in the early stages of being in that creative line of things. Making money can be difficult, no matter what you do.
Very.
How do you think they can go about that stuff in this modern day and age, especially when everybody has a camera, good camera on their phone, everybody has an internet connection, anybody can get 5,000 likes on a random picture. How can you work around that and make money?
Rule number 1, stop thinking short run.
Right.
All right. These low blows, these cheap stunts, they don't last.
Yeah.
They won't help you in the future.
Right.
All right, it's gonna make you really famous, but
Yeah.
for a very short period of time.
Right.
And you really need to know who you are. Stop being someone who you're not,
Right.
because that's a big problem, from my opinion.
Mm.
And stop doing what everyone else is doing. It's great if you do it, but
Yeah.
put you in it.
Right.
All right, আমরা সবসময় কারোর মতন হতে চাই.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like, majority of us cannot get things done
Yeah.
because they're always worried about মানুষ কি বলবে.
Yeah.
What will people say?
Yeah.
Fuck what will people say?
Yeah.
Do what makes you happy,
Yeah.
right? And just stick to it.
Yeah.
It's just like working out.
Mm.
All right, day 1 selfie, day 2, day 3, where's day 4?
It's just consistency.
Right, and you start seeing result from the 4th week.
Right.
Give it some time. It's like, watering a plant.
Yeah.
Stick to it.
Right.
So I explored all these fields, and then when I got into this YouTubing and creating content,
Yeah.
that's when I was like, man, I enjoy this, so let me just stick to it.
Yeah.
So even when I'm not making videos on my YouTube channel, which is my root,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that, but I'm still sticking to it.
Right.
I'm getting into the business aspect. I'm still making videos.
Yeah.
I'm being a producer.
Yeah.
I'm still making videos.
Right.
I'm making someone else's video,
Yeah.
but that's my video.
Right.
Right?
It's still, I guess,
It's a
blessing
practice.
that creative muscle.
Exactly.
Right.
So
You just gotta keep doing it.
Exactly.
And then build that craft.
Yep.
And you feel that instead of chasing money, money is a side effect.
Absolutely.
Right.
But then again, I love Plata Plomo, as Pablo Escobar said.
Right. And you gotta think about that as well at the time.
Have to.
Who do you think are currently killing it in the industry, both locally and globally?
Are we talking about quality or quantity?
I love how you kind of rebuttal that with those two distinctions. Let's talk both. Actually, no, I don't want to talk about quantity. I think everybody can see what quality is. Talk to me about quality from your aspect.
Quality, it's rare.
I think anyone you personally watch a lot.
Right now,
locally and globally.
as I speak, right now, the only creator that I've been following and I've been really enjoying his content is Rafsan the Choto Bhai, the food blogger, because I see the authenticity in him.
Right.
Like, dude's real. Dude knows what's up. All right, I really like that.
Awesome.
Among the also, I would love to talk about Nuhash. I think he knows his game.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about quality.
Right.
But you see, at the end of the day, they're not getting those millions and millions and millions and millions of views.
Rafsan's been doing well in terms of engagement as well. And
Yeah.
he was actually a guest in the show as well.
Yeah.
I think somewhere in the middle of the
Yeah.
episodes. And
I saw his name in the list. Yeah.
Yeah, and he spoke to me about, one thing that attracted me the most was how he built this community which will stick with him no matter what. Like and I guess, I know you don't read the comments as much, but that's something I found out, like, it has helped me personally when I actually literally go through what everyone has to say about him. No matter what he does, he will get the craziest number of comments. And usually when you see like a big number of comments and shares, again, I go through it and I see there are no, Prince Al Mahamud and Akashi Mekla comments, like just random, stuff that don't matter. These are people who he has targeted, people who are his audience, that fits his demographic, and he still gets the numbers. So that what attracted me the most about ChotoAzad. It's not just about the quality in terms of the audience he targets, but he also is getting the numbers.
He's definitely getting the numbers, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and
he's building this stuff.
Yeah.
But Nuhash, he's one of my favorite directors as well right
he's
now.
so good.
I've worked on a music video with Ijaz as well, and his work. But Ijaz and Nuhash also currently working on.
Ijaz Mahdi.
Correct.
Oh man, he's really good. He's really good.
Awesome. Yeah, we worked on a couple of music videos together, and then
Yeah.
he's working with Nuhash. And Nuhash's work is also getting featured on Netflix.
Yeah.
Soon.
Iti Tomar Dhaka.
I can't wait to see it.
Man, it feels so good. But there are other content, Bangladeshi content on Netflix as well.
Yeah, there was already a couple there. That, I can't remember the names.
Kamala
right
Rocket
now.
was one.
Correct.
Yeah,
This
and
year.
I don't know the other one.
Right. I forgot the other one as well,
But it feels so good,
awesome.
dude.
Absolutely.
Also, check this guy out in case if you don't know. Shomi Patwari on Instagram.
Shomi.
Right, dude. He represents.
He directed all the ASAP Rocky, Migos videos as well. In fact, I think think I was just checking him out yesterday. He follows one of my favorite, not follows, isn't like follows on Instagram. One of my favorite directors as well, Taha Ismail.
Taha Ismail, oh
the
man.
GTA, OG GTA work. He's
Dude,
just
talk about small package with big impact.
I know, it's like that video was just so good 5 years, 6 years ago. And he's been killing it.
These people are like, they're ahead of time.
Talk to me about your discipline in terms of morning routine and stuff. When I watched that video you had on Boom about what you, I guess...
10 everyday essentials.
Yeah, correct. Things you can't live without essentially. Yeah. You seem to be a very organized person. I love that about you.
Thanks.
How much of that does, play a role in your day? How much of that does that play a role in your day-to-day life, especially in helping you create? I guess you kind of answered that with the work side of things, but
every day that was not scripted. Right. That was legit. That's me. Right.
Of course.
Legit.
Right.
And that's why reading filtered messages, surprising a fan. These were all my shows, but I'm like, nah, I don't fit there.
Right.
That's a great show, but this is a show. I was like, I fit there. Yeah. And then these play a great role. Yeah. In fact, recently I got into a new hobby, which is making music. I'm a noob, but still I'm doing it because because I think that's how I procrastinate. Yeah. Right? I'm doing something. And when I go, so that's how it goes. That's when the beat drops. Right? So that's how I do it. And one thing I've learned from the internet, seeing all these big people who I really look up to, including Philip Kotler, oh man, I've learned so much from Philip Kotler. Right? That the first thing I do every morning is you make your bed, because every successful person.
Saw that on your Insta stories.
Yeah. Because making your bed when you wake up, it's basically you just accomplished the first task of the day.
Correct.
And if I'm not wrong, it was someone from the defense in the USA.
Correct. This speech. That
exactly, the speech.
Yeah.
So I heard it from him, and dude, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And meditation, dude, it's magic.
Really? Have you been able to stick to it?
Yes.
Nice.
I am proudly addicted to meditation. This is like a whole different trip. Because it took me, if I'm not wrong, 18 days.
Yeah.
Because initially, all those booties were in front of me when I would close my eyes, and I could not focus. Because you see, our head is eaten up by so much of crap that we don't need to know.
Yeah.
And headspace. Okay, fine. We know what headspace is. You really need to know what headspace is. And when you have the headspace, that's when you have a lot of place to think about.
Right.
So yeah, man, just, it's okay. Party, have fun.
Yeah.
You need your recreation.
Yeah.
There's a kid inside me.
Yeah.
This kid loves to party.
Right.
But then again,
also making sure that everything's kind of
exactly.
done, right. So routine's super important.
Yeah.
Future of the digital content industry, both in Bangladesh or anywhere else, I guess.
We were talking about people like Nuhash, Taha.
Yeah.
They should make more.
More stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
These kind of content should come up more.
Right. That's fantastic. Yeah.
And stop. If someone's making it there, let him or her go there.
Right.
Stop pulling that person back. That's a bad habit, dude.
I think it's okay to criticize
constructive criticism is fine, but
not the.
Stop making me feel like shit.
Yeah.
What did I do to you?
Just because you're.
Yeah,
there's a difference.
Yeah. That's not cool anymore.
Anymore.
Exactly.
2020.
Exactly.
Personal goal in 5 years.
Get married.
Nice.
5 years. Then adopt a child.
Okay, adopt.
Yeah.
Nice.
Man. I just want to be a great father, dude. Apart from that, maybe get bald totally, because it's almost going there. 5 years, and hopefully I literally have blown up the savings I've had to buy a car. I saved up thrice. I've blown it up. Oh, never mind. On trips, but maybe get one. Make my wife happy. That's all.
That's it. It's awesome,
have a good life, dude. I just want to have fun, dude.
Right. With your, I just want to comment on your morning routine as well. You've become fitter over the years. Obviously, that also had a big part to play. just by fitter I mean physically you look better, you look in better shape.
Thank you.
How much of that has played? Do you do this every day, like working out and stuff, or do you just schedule it in your?
So last year I really got into it.
Yeah.
And I lost 25 kilos in 3 months.
Fantastic.
And I was not hard on myself.
Right.
I just followed a few basics: no sugar, no soda.
Right.
Like even if I'm having a drink, not with soda, not with carbonated drinks and all that.
Yeah.
Go easy on yourself.
Yeah.
But then I took it for granted, and then I stopped working out.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna make a new journey. But dude, the best thing that I figured out from this living healthy thing.
Yeah.
It's not just about the body and the muscle and
It's about
I go to the.
yeah.
Dude, it's
the
about the
mental.
self-esteem, dude.
Yeah.
When you feel confident, like
Yeah.
gym,
Like
can-
it changes you. Yeah.
dude, you feel good. Like imagine you're comfortable
Yeah.
and confident wearing the clothes that could not make you feel that way the other day.
Right.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah. No, it's good to see people kind of taking their health seriously, and that's a big thing we kind of were never taught early on, especially now with the creative line of things where creativity hits all these different times of the day.
Right.
Taking care of yourself always becomes the last priority for many. So it's good to see like some of you have taken that step.
Appreciate.
Finally,
Every good thing's come to an end, huh?
it does. 3 actionable steps that someone in the creative fields can take, literally taking their headphones off while listening to this, after listening to this. And the key word is actionable. And it can be yourself, go dream. Actionable steps that they can take to walk your path as a video creator, I guess.
Set your objective.
Mm-hmm.
Do your homework, give a test to yourself, and then do your homework again. All right, and then roll the dice.
Right.
Simple. Be yourself. All this motivational, like go to Google.
Yeah.
Google will tell you that, and learn your audience. That's important.
That's so true.
All right, you need to know, like I invite you over,
Yeah.
and I make, I don't know, like someone invites me and gets me sushi.
Yeah.
I can't even hold chopsticks, so it's of no use. So
Right.
you need to know your audience, right? So yeah, do your homework,
Yeah.
and don't rush. Do not rush. Do not rush.
Right.
All right, take your time. Good things take time. It's okay. Take your time, and then release it only when you know you're ready,
Right.
and do it for yourself, dude.
Yeah.
Because it will only work out when you're satisfied, or else you're gonna cringe.
Yeah. if you gotta make yourself happy, then that's
Shit, did I give like more than 3?
That's fine.
Huh.
It's okay.
Yeah.
One, two, three. Asif, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. It's pretty much like a late night show. Isn't
Yo,
it?
check this out. So this is what I was gonna tell you. Hoping this to be my best show. Haven't had a satisfying show so far, and yeah, man.
Dude, means a lot. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem.
Legit.
It's I want to call it the late night show, but I don't think I should because this is the only late night one. Thanks, Asif. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.